boom, 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 boom.
You can actually move the camera.
I don't understand why anyone
Well, this red wall here. And lose almost all of it.
All right, everyone, welcome to a bone-dry, empty bowl of dude soup.
Ew.
Yeah. Yep. Episode number 5.
It's like when you leave a soup out overnight and then it kind of loses it coagulates.
But it develops a skin.
That's the thing.
Soup skin.
Dude soup coagulates hardcore.
There's absolutely a soup
and
skin on dude soup.
so you don't want to eat it if it's been out all night.
If
or
you leave
wanna eat
dude
it
soup in a
warm.
bowl untouched for about 5 minutes, the bowl's gone. Just get rid of it. You're never going to use it again.
because
yeah.
it stains the bowl forever.
Dishwasher's
Bounds right
not
in
gonna
there.
help.
It basically
Boiling
becomes
water
the new
won't
bottom
help.
of the bowl if you want to keep using it.
Yeah.
So we saw today that the podcast awards are the nominees.
the
are out.
potties.
The podcast.
Potties.
Yeah, the Poties.
potties?
It's on a website that was
Putties?
made on Dreamweaver, Adobe's Dreamweaver, award-winning
I
software.
love that software. I
Yeah,
remember.
Yeah.
use all professionals use it. Dude Soup is not on there.
Fuck you.
unfortunately. Yeah, so
We've
we're
been
out.
doing this for nearly 2 months.
We're the anti-podcast.
But
What does that mean?
I look forward to the day where there will be all these great podcasts, and then up there with them will be Dude Soup.
Do you think I'll ever win an Oscar?
No,
I watched the video of Eddie
Redmayne.
Redmayne winning an Oscar. He probably never thought he'd win one.
No, but you're not Eddie Redmayne.
Thank God.
No, but he's a good
I don't
actor.
want to be in a wheelchair for the rest of my life.
Is this
no,
how you
he's
played
not
Half-Life 2? You
he's
just
not
ran
a
around
wheelchair.
breaking everything and not enjoying the game? Like,
Why
I
am I-
want you to?
Sorry. Anyway.
Like
so-
I want you to. This is the way Adam wants to enjoy it.
You're not allowed to play games the way you want. Actually, we'll
Sorry.
get to that in a minute.
Oh yeah, go ahead.
We have some deep thematic discussion today because
Ew.
there was a 3
Veiny,
somewhere,
turgid.
so everybody's screaming Half-Life 3 confirmed. Basically, so at GDC, Valve is said to unveil their VR headset, which we now know is a partnership with HTC. It's called the Vive.
Vive.
Horrible
Which,
name.
Jesus Christ. No, I'm sure Valve's branding had nothing to do with that. I'm sure they'll come up with something better.
Sure.
But the
What do you
headset
think they're
sounds
gonna
pretty
call it?
cool.
Because we got Steam,
The crowbar.
we got Valve.
I think I call it the Oculus Raft.
Nice. And you can put it in the ocean.
Yeah.
And sail out.
It takes you where you want to go.
I was going to
Yeah.
say the gear,
Namely
but
the
that's already
ocean.
taken. Oh, look at this.
Everyone's like, sorry.
The thing
Hey,
you weren't
Spool's
on.
gonna let you in. My wife's coming in.
Spool, go like Jess. Sorry,
Please,
ladies.
say please.
Keep talking.
Say please.
Hey,
Say please.
1 second. I'm giving you the Spool.
I never agreed.
Yeah.
So, the first game for the Vive
I'll tell you why.
It's
powered
called the
by
Oculus
SteamOS.
Raft.
later. Oh yeah, go ahead.
is a game called Job Simulator, which is a job simulator. It's kind of interesting. Have you
Is
seen
that
it?
real? No,
Yeah,
no.
it's real.
I've
yeah.
not seen it.
So you could argue about whether or not it's actually a game, but the idea is that it's in the dystopian future where nobody works anymore, so they play video games to simulate what jobs must have been like. So it's kind of like Surgeon Simulator. The clip I saw was like somebody working in a fake restaurant, and they had to like make fake food. So he was just like jiggling hot sauce into a pot.
Was it neat?
It looked neat. It looked like it'd be fun to fuck around with, which is all I want out of like first gen VR games.
So you know how you
wanna-
have. Oh, what?
Sorry, I know. I was just saying you want to simulate a mundane job.
Well, that's
Yeah,
what.
that's the
so,
joke. I mean, it's not a joke; it's reality now. But yes,
Going back to Lawrence's love-hate relationship with himself of how he plays indie games. What's up?
How do I let her into the gate?
You have to go to the desk and ask them to open the gate.
Oh.
Yeah. Thank you, Spool. More on that later.
I play indie games because it makes me think I'm better than you.
Yeah, well, yeah, kind of.
Shooter, first
but
person
like we've had
trash.
this discussion of like people making indie games, and we're kind of like, what is a video game? Like
Yeah.
grass growing is now a video game of enjoyment. It's like, well, I don't enjoy it. Like, well, I do. So different strokes, different folks, that sort of thing.
Sure.
That is going to get even broader with VR.
Yeah. So the reason people think Half-Life 3 is about to be announced, there is some legitimate reasoning and some illegitimate reasoning. The illegitimate one is that, oh my god, Valve has a presentation tomorrow, March 3rd, which is the 3rd month and the 3rd day at 3 p.m.
Well, hold on. So this is actually airing after March 3rd.
Yeah, so we're probably totally wrong.
We could
That's
be
right.
in a post Half-Life 3 announced
Oh!
world right this very
I can feel
moment.
it. The air smells different. Oh, it's
Yeah,
farts.
it
That's
smells-
farts.
Look at them,
No,
look at
that's
them
actually
walking
my
up, that's
fart.
really cute.
So here's the thing, Lawrence.
Up.
How much of a chance do you think Half-Life 3 is going to get announced on Tuesday, and we're going to be wrong and not have talked about Half-Life 3 at all on this podcast?
I don't think there's much of a chance, and I'll tell you why, Bruce.
All right, please tell
Yeah,
me.
you have good reasoning.
It makes sense that Valve would maybe exclusively release a Half-Life 3 for their VR headset. That makes sense.
Yes.
But announcing it at GDC doesn't make sense for a multitude of reasons.
True.
The first being that if it's GDC, you're trying to attract developers to make games for your device. Why would you announce the one, you're going to immediately steal anyone's thunder if you announce Half-Life 3 for this thing at GDC.
Oh, I see.
When you're at a place and trying to say make a game
games
for our
for this,
product.
yeah.
Also, we're making the one game everyone in the world wants, and that's going to be the first thing you compete with. I don't think they're going to do that. So it does make sense to me that they would use Half-Life 3 and they'd say, this is the world's first shooter developed for VR, coming to you from Valve, exclusively on the HTC Vive, get it via SteamOS. Like, that makes a lot of sense. That's how you get your install base,
Sure.
and that's part of why you get developers on board. Now, I can see behind closed doors them saying, like, here's our game plan. We're gonna announce Half-Life 3. It's gonna come out a year and a half after the headset. So we're giving you guys a year and a half window to get your projects out, get some sales up. I can guarantee you the install base is gonna be there because Half-Life 3 is gonna push that. Nice job.
Thank you.
So
Lost Coast is hard.
It is actually pretty difficult.
I mean, Gabe Newell's never been coy about Half-Life 3 being in development. He just constantly says, we have nothing to show you, and we know you guys want it. You're going to drive yourselves insane if we actually talk about it all the time, so we're actually doing you a favor by being quiet. That's my paraphrasing. So I don't think, like, strategically it doesn't make sense to me to announce it here, but I don't know what they're doing. Maybe it does make sense, and I'm just not privy to all the information.
Well, their whole business strategy has changed completely too.
That's
in
the other part of it.
last few years.
They're much more of a service vendor now than a product vendor.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know the exact numbers, but there's a good chance that Dota's making them a lot more money than Half-Life ever did.
So I actually ran the numbers on that a while ago, and Half-Life 2, through its multiple iterations, sold something like 35 million units. And I
Okay,
remember,
maybe I'm wrong.
Well, I remember kind of crunching the numbers, and Half-Life 2 made them a shitload of money.
Like how much? What are we talking?
I can't remember specifically. I'd have to run it again.
Didn't
but-
we look up Dota? I thought we looked up Dota a while back, and it made like, I want to say 600 million for them in a year or something like that.
Jeez.
Whereas League made almost $1 billion.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I could totally be wrong on those numbers. I might have to look that up again, but actually I will right now.
All right.
I remember reading that article. I want to check.
So,
Either way, the ceiling, there's not much of a ceiling on a free-to-play MOBA versus a single-player only game.
yeah, because you get your one bite and you're done.
Yeah,
Like, you
basically.
get your $60 purchase,
I mean,
and then
there's mod support. There's a multiplayer aspect that nobody plays.
Also,
like,
I'm curious how much it costs to make Half-Life 2.
that's a great question.
How much
It's hard
did it
to say.
cost?
I mean, we'll never know is the answer. Somebody at Valve knows, but it's the way that Valve works. I assume there was just a very nebulous amount of people kind of moving in and off the project over a number of years, prototyping all sorts of levels. At some point, it kind of congealed into a game, and then they were like, okay, here are the sections we want. People developed Lost Coast, which didn't end up making it into the game, but then they released it later.
All right, how many copies did you say Half-Life sold?
I think it was around like 35 million, but I could be wrong.
So we're talking
That's
about-
just a guess from the shades of my midterm memory.
$50 or $60?
50, I guess.
50 because it's on PC, but then
then-
there's also so many
But hold
Steam
on.
sales.
Yeah, I was gonna
and-
say, when is this window?
yeah.
All of it.
Because I feel like most copies of Half-Life probably sold for less than the full retail
And I don't know if
price.
that includes like Orange Box, which had all of them in it.
Right.
I got some interesting news for you. That means, by those figures,
Yeah.
that made almost $2 billion.
I don't think that's right.
But
Yeah.
my guess is it probably made around $1 billion.
Really?
Yeah, I just think it
billion
sold 35 million copies of it. And it's
Again,
like GTA.
theoretically.
GTA sold, they made $1 billion in 3 days.
Yeah, but that's a console exclusive. We're talking about PC. Like it
For now.
But
I
and over
know.
time, and Orange Box and all those.
I know
Regardless,
this game came out 10 years ago.
Dota, I looked up Dota. It only made 80 million in 2013. They said they expected those sales to double in 2014 to 160 million.
Okay.
So actually, Dota's nowhere close to what Half-Life 2 sold.
Theoretically, for now.
So
Yeah.
theoretically,
It's tough.
by those numbers, yes, that's.
But if you're a business, you want a steady, reliable, like, flow of money. You don't want a mountain every 5 years that you then have to kind of parcel out.
Of course, yeah.
It's a lot easier to deal with just in terms of running a business and
Also,
all that
like
kind of stuff.
Valve has become a service. That, like you said, they're not really much of a game developer these days. And like what was it, like Counter-Strike? They just kind of put Hidden Path on-
Skins,
Yeah, well, they gave it to Hidden Path. They're like, here, you do it.
meat knives.
Yeah, you figure it
Where are
out.
you going, Adam?
I have no idea. I've actually never
Go
gone all the way
upstairs.
through.
Oh, you never played Lost
Upstairs
Coast?
there.
I did a long
Stairs
time
are
ago.
broken. There's a ladder.
Yeah, no,
There's
I
a
feel
ladder
you.
that
Is there a
you need to
ladder?
take.
So,
Where's this ladder?
So
There's no ladder.
personally, I'm coming down on I don't expect a Half-Life 3 reveal at GDC, but I mean I'm excited for Valve's tech. I think the marriage of hardware and software vendor is what's really going to push VR.
Where's the one?
There's if you go back down, it's like halfway.
Gosh, could you imagine a SteamOS interface but in VR?
no.
So like all these Steam deals are flying at you, and you got to like grab them and move them around and throw
Yes.
them into your cart.
Absolutely.
Oh, that's sweet. Oh, the other thing about the Vive I forgot to mention is that it has the same tech as the Crescent Bay Oculus Rift, so it's got IR sensors all over it. So basically, it can detect the dimensions of the room you're in addition to tracking your head movement. That means that you could go into a room that's like set up to be part of the game, walk around in there with your little hand controllers. And
So can
shoot guys.
I don't know if this is the right discussion for this, but, and I'm not saying this to troll or anything, But like, I'm a pretty big gamer. I don't care if Half-Life 3 ever comes out. Like, I mean, I played all of Half-Life 2. I played most of Half-Life 1 after the fact.
Oh, yeah.
And for me, it's like, it was cool because at the time it was this crazy physics experiment. But now there's lots of games that have shit like this.
Yeah.
Like, so like,
Well, we
I
always
don't
said,
care
like-
about finishing the story. The story didn't really ever grab me for anything. Like, I'm not like, whoa, what happened to the main character of Half-Life, of the world of Half-Life? Like, I don't really care. Like, so I think they might know that there are people like me out there.
Oh yeah, sure.
That like aren't dying for it. Like the internet is dying for it, but the internet is loud and small.
Yeah.
So
Well, it's loud and big, but
Jump up the broken staircase.
I forget how to do this.
you do to yourself?
Do I
Oh!
I think you have to start over because you blew up the staircase.
no, he didn't blow it up. They blew it up as a
bad guys
scripted
blow it
event.
up. Yeah, it's strange. Well, I think actually what you're saying, oh, thank you. What you're saying, James, is probably what Valve is saying. They're like, we don't care. We don't care about this universe or this character that we made. We're way more interested in things like Dota and like being a service and all these other things. Like,
Whoa, hold on.
I mean,
a
they
minute.
also-
Yeah, I don't
hold
think
on.
that's- I think
man,
they-
I don't think so at all.
I don't think Valve's that interested in it. And I think
I think
actually what
that-
they're going to
I
do
think
is
they are.
they're going to find I think they're like generally interested in the idea, but they're like, let's just find another developer who will make it like the guys who made
Machine Games.
Machine Games, the guys who made Wolfenstein, New Order, like call those dudes up and be like, hey, what would you do with Half-Life 3?
My theory is they're not worried
Quicksand.
about making money, right?
Oh, right.
Don't
They
die.
began as a game development studio that is now gotten to the point where they are a software developer, kind of, right?
Yeah.
They built a software that just makes them money constantly, forever and ever. So my guess is that if they have developers there, game developers there, working there, they're probably working on passion-y projects like things that aren't necessarily just a sequel to a game that people liked several years ago.
I'm glad you brought that up because I think Half-Life 3 is a passion project for them. I think
think
that's
so.
exactly what it is. I think
Yeah.
because the reason they've held off on it so long is because somebody, Gabe or whoever, was like, you know what, we need to start making money. Like, we need to figure out how to make these services. And along the way, Gabe or someone else said, holy shit, guys, we made a lot of money. We made a lot of really cool services. Now we can actually make Half-Life 3. Now we can actually make this game that a lot of people want and that we want to see. Because a lot of people, the story itself I thought was really cool. A lot of people thought it was really
I'm super into the
involved.
story.
I was too.
It's one of the few games I actually give a shit about the story.
But
It's also story light, which is nice.
It is.
it was it was
Yeah.
storyline, and I think a lot of people at Valve thought the same thing. I think they all sort of enjoyed what they made, and this was like this Half-Life 2 was their passion project. So I think they're going to make a sequel. I just don't know how.
I think they don't want to. They just don't want to make another. I guess like Half-Life 2 is from a time that no longer exists.
Yeah, yes.
Like the silent protagonist
Right.
and it's like there are certain games like that, but they don't do as well. And I think they're looking to push tech. They want to push a new aspect.
They have to find a way for it to tickle their balls again.
Yeah.
Because if they just made this game,
Right.
like again, it wouldn't do that. For them.
Absolutely.
And since they have the luxury of not having to sweat it, and they can do basically whatever they want, it's basically like crazy genius type
Right.
thing. Like
Right.
he's not, you could figure out how to solve all like hunger, but that doesn't appeal to him. So
Right.
well,
I think-
he's gonna move on to whatever's next.
That's a really good point because the Half-Life 2, like James said, was very physics based. Something that people don't really comment on is episodes 1 and 2 were really AI based because Alex would follow you for a majority of it, and a lot of that game was making Alex react to things and look at you at certain times and fight enemies realistically. And I feel like that was maybe the passion part of those games, technically speaking.
Yeah.
They wanted to add a realistic AI partner that would actually follow you around and talk to you and help you out. I remember like dumb things like you'd hit her in the eyes with a flashlight, she'd put her hand up and be like, "What the fuck are you doing?" So they would try to anticipate player behavior and make you believe that you were actually playing with a human, which was pretty cool.
Yeah. Oh, well, at the time it was revolutionary. It was like you play this game, you're like, wow, and then every other game started doing
Yeah.
what Half-Life
So,
did, and
I can-
those kind of games don't really exist anymore.
I could see like somebody at Valve being like, okay, for Half-Life 3, it's not enough to just make another group of levels, bring in the VO actors,
no.
talk about more story.
Absolutely not.
From a gameplay perspective, we need something really new, and we're gonna cram in all these prototypes and see what we can figure out. Nice.
Not to mention,
Ooh.
so many other games also like kind of in the sense of world building, like Portal kind of took off and they didn't really think it was going to. So it's like, well, now how do we integrate Portal into this world? You know, they have all this. I think they
Oh.
kind of,
Oh, head crack.
yeah, they have so much.
That's a poison head crab too.
Yeah,
Those
those
motherfuckers.
fuckers, I hate them. Ugh, they look like spiders. I hate them.
Toxins.
That's actually, you know what? That's something I hadn't
They
thought
hiss
about.
and click.
Adam, is the integration of Portal World into the Half-Life world, which is something that could be another hook for Half-Life 3.
Well,
That would be
most
for me.
certainly
Yeah,
has to
that would draw me back.
I mean, they were canonically tied together in episode 2.
Well, I mean,
No, they absolutely were, but I
that's-
mean, there was but adding those two elements in, like two gameplay elements.
that was
in
always
one
kind of my
game.
theory was Portal 2 is a very standalone story. Like it had a really good beginning, middle, and end. And then like Half-Life 2 kind of left you hanging. So I was like, well, why not just make both games into one?
Right.
So and then
I don't want to see that though.
I think it would just basically comes down to the portal gun being a weapon in the game.
Yeah,
I can see that too. I'm right there with you.
I could see.
These all seem like decisions.
well, like,
made
imagine
to
they just take-
raise the profitability margin, not decisions made by crazy wild geniuses.
I don't know.
who have
I
money and
imagine
time.
I imagine portal technology with the gravity gun and then some sort of VR aspect. Like you could do something really
God,
cool.
Portals with VR. I feel like people got mind bent enough. Like when the TV was across the room. I feel like, you know, it's just like Event Horizon, right? They figured out how to travel. They went through some dark nether space, and they came back all crazy and tore each other's eyes out. I feel like if you put a VR helmet on somebody and make them play Portal 2, they're just gonna go insane. They're gonna like start ripping off their own skin and vomiting everywhere.
Well, the crazy wild genius part of what you're talking about, like you integrate Portal, you integrate Half-Life gravity gun physics, all that other into Half-Life 3, then you've got the VR. I think that's the crazy genius part of the whole thing that we've been talking about for a while.
I agree.
Like,
That's the tech.
oh, do you make it exclusive? Do you not? There are pros and cons to making the game exclusive or not on the Vive, but
I imagine what you do, you just do what they did with Half-Life 2 when they were doing the ATI cards early on, where basically if you buy this headset, it comes with a free copy of the game.
Yeah.
Done and done. Because Valve's not going to be like, you could only play it with VR. They're going to be like, we highly recommend you do play with VR,
Yeah.
so please buy this silly little hat.
I think the crux of it is, and this is what makes me believe that Half-Life 3 would be VR based or VR focused, is that Valve, it's not enough of them to just put tech in a game. They want the game design to reflect the tech that the game is based around. So in Half-Life 2, you had, dumbass puzzles where you had to stack up bricks on one side of a plank to run up, like, because the physics was part of it.
That part was awesome. You shut your whore mouth.
No, I loved it. I was just kind of slipping into James's tone. And then in episodes 1 and 2, they have extended sequences where you're fighting a bunch of zombies, and the goal is to have Alex run in front of you and do awesome shit so you can see her do it.
Yeah.
I feel like with Half-Life 3, it's tempting to say they just make a shooter and put it in VR. What's the problem? I feel like they would absolutely want the level design and the environments and the voice acting and everything to really integrate with VR and make it a standard-setting experience. It kind of reminds me of like Wii Sports in that way.
It also has to be a tech showcase for the new Source engine.
Exactly.
To me, it feels like Avatar. James Cameron was like, "We're gonna do 3D correct," and I'm shooting with the 3D cameras, and like, it's gonna be totally revolutionary. And he did it, and Avatar worked really well in 3D, at least for the most part. And then everybody saw it. I was like, "Oh, 3D is the future." Blah 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 blah. And then and then everybody hates 3D now. So
I always like Bruce's excited, not excited. Like, oh my god, Avatar is so life
He
changing.
ripped off Fern Gully.
well, that's what everybody says about Avatars. Is like everyone when they walked out of that movie was like, 3D is the future. We're all gonna watch movies in 3D from now on.
I had a headache that lasted for like 2 days.
Yeah, Sam Worthington's acting was bad.
Somewhere
acting.
Sam Worthington doesn't care.
Yeah, he's sleeping on
He's
millions of
having
dollars.
sex with somebody.
he's
He's
on
like,
a, just a
oh,
bed of
beautiful
money, and he
model,
was
yeah.
like, "Did I hear?" No, I didn't hear.
But I think that's what's going to happen with this. They're going to announce Half-Life 3 for the Vive.
quick save, please.
Everyone's going to buy. Yes,
You're about to die. I don't
No, I'm not.
And
you are.
everyone's
I
going
think
to buy the Vive, play Half-Life 3. VR is the future, and then and then in 1 year VR will be gone. So, or at least it'll be in a different form. That's kind of the way I'm seeing this.
I'm okay with buying a $500 Half-Life 3 machine.
I am also all right with that.
I can't imagine it's to be that much. I think 300 is kind of the
Yeah, it is a sweet
It
spot.
doesn't need to be expensive, is the thing. Like a VR headset, it's a display from a phone, maybe running at a higher resolution. That's it.
Like Google Cardboard.
Yeah, see, school's got it, and a bunch of
I get it.
a bunch of IR receivers that are really cheap, a bunch of gyroscopes that are really cheap. Like the tech is all there. It just requires the time to make it workable. So you're right. A headset doesn't need to be expensive. We'll see.
Yeah.
Because there's going to be, R&D is going to
Just so long it's American made.
Only if you want to make it comfortable.
made in China.
So
Oh,
Sorry.
Well, it's
And
cheaper, right?
That was
yeah.
so. To Spool's point, talking about it being comfortable, I remember some of the early rumors about the Vive. One of the big points that they stressed was the point of this headset is to be light, like lighter than the Oculus Rift. They want it to be so light, it's something that you could wear for hours.
Yeah.
And that's kind of what you need when it comes to
HTC
gaming.
makes nice displays. I don't know if you've seen the M8, but
Oh, yeah.
great phone. So good to know.
Well, on to a game that is much more likely. And you know what?
Crash Bandicoot.
Got to run the numbers on it. Yeah, Crash Bandicoot
4
5.
or whatever.
Shadow of the Colossus? too?
Boom! Nice shot of the helicopter.
It's Crash Bandicoot 4 with a question mark.
He shot it down.
I don't even know. So Fallout 4 is becoming increasingly likely to be seen at E3.
That's crazy.
This is coming by way of
Todd Howard himself.
Yeah, Todd Howard himself, NeoGAF savant Shinobi062.
Ooh, love that guy.
Whom I love referencing because he has the coolest name ever. Also, his avatar is Wayne Knight on everything, which is beautiful. But
You're gonna die.
so just to give you guys some background on who this guy is, he's presumed to be an insider because he says a lot of things that end up being very right, specifically on NeoGAF. And then on Twitter, he said that it is a quote safe assumption that we will see Fallout 43. And then somebody said, like, on a scale of 1 to 10, how sure are you? And he said 11.
Who said that?
Whoa.
Shinobi?
Shinobi062.
But that's not Todd Howard.
Do you think
could
it
be
might
Todd
be?
Howard.
He uses Wayne Knight avatars just like Todd Howard does.
There you go.
True. He does love Seinfeld.
So, and the thing that I wanted to tie it to, so we did an extended talk about Fallout 4. If you missed that, I encourage you to go back and listen to it. But one thing that I found fascinating that didn't seem like it was going to be very topical, but ended up being, is there was an interview with the CEO of Level 5, whose name I have blanked on, but I will look it up right now. So this is at...
What does Level 5 do?
Yeah, what did they do?
Oh yeah, they're big RPG makers. They made Ni no Kuni
gotcha, yeah.
and Dragon Quest VIII. Yokai Watch is their big blow
I
up
want
right
to see
now.
how you link.
Hero.
I want to see how
Hero,
you link
that's
Ni no Kuni to Fallout. Do that.
Basically
Oh
the
yeah,
same game.
Let me do that. Well, they're both RPGs, but there's something even more substantial than that. Basically,
no.
he did an interview with a Japanese website that's around like hiring and interviews. It was basically like, if you want a job in games, here's what you need to know. And he said some really interesting things about game development, basically saying that for makers of RPGs and makers of large games, it's very
make a rant about
tempting.
Yeah.
I don't think that's what you're supposed to do.
This is how Gabe Newell intended the game to be played.
Oh, almost. Nice job.
Need another one.
But he was talking about how developers, this was around PS2 eras when he started developing games or directing games. He said at the time, we had so much storage that it was tempting to just, like, the ability to put in everything felt like the obligation to put in everything. But then he was talking with another developer, Yuji Horii, the guy who made Dragon Quest. Of course, we all know his name, but he quoted him as saying, Mr. Horii saw things differently, espousing that by presenting the user with the smallest amount of mandatory content as possible, they'd progress through the game enjoyably without that nagging sense of incompleteness. He then said, I got a lot of... and he talked about Professor Layton, which Level 5 also made, and he said that at all times in Professor Layton, they had a little thing on the screen telling you where to go and how to get there. Mm-hmm. And he said, quote, I got a lot of opposition from other company employees over this as well. You can't have a game which tells you what you have to do next. That's not a game. That kind of thing. There was worry that those well-versed in adventure games would find restrictions on finding out what they had to do unsatisfying. But he says the opposite's actually true. People want to know where to go all the time. They want the option of exploring left to them.
Of course.
But they never want to feel like they have a laundry list of things they have to do.
Right, because you want to choose what you want to do.
Mm-hmm.
That's a big reason why I think a lot of people just don't finish video games.
Yeah, you're right.
You like Dying Light. I've been playing that. Like it's on the podcast. I'm still on it. Still trying to get through it, and it's like every time I pick it up, I'm like, what did I do last? Like I don't remember, and I have to like spend a good hour just trying to remember what I was doing. And then even then, I'm just like, I don't know if I want to keep playing.
So
like,
he
it's a
actually
lot of
addressed
work.
he addressed that specifically, and that's part of giving somebody a very small list of direct objectives. He summarized by saying, "It's going to sound really obvious when I put it like this, but as professional creators pile on the years, they have a tendency to become characteristically eccentric with their design. But the more a creator gets carried away and obsessive, the less sellable a game becomes." Mm-hmm. It's kind of an interesting paradox because Skyrim is full of stuff and is one of the best-selling RPGs of all time. But I'm a little concerned about Fallout 4, given Bethesda's inclination to just
Make things huge.
blast you with content. Yeah, and have your quest list be like 3 pages long. And Ubisoft is terrible about this, just having a mini map packed with little icons that just all kinds of bullshit to do. I thought GTA was actually really smart about it. It was like, go to this letter if you want to complete the story, but if you want to do other stuff, you figure that out.
Nice.
So it knocked over the.
You go down below.
Can you like hop your way down?
No, down below through the slot.
Little gap there.
There
You
we
fall in
go.
there. Yeah.
I'm good at video games.
So I'm really interested to see Fallout 4, mostly because I'm interested how they're going to structure and present the world and the content and the quest to the player. I wouldn't say it's necessarily a problem they have to overcome, but it is an interesting side effect. It's one of the things that honestly does kind of make me shy away from Skyrim. If I ever look at my others log and it's just 40 quests And then like I go try to track down one, and it turns out the NPC was eaten by a bear 20 hours ago, and I don't remember that or anything like that. So yeah, it's an interesting point of discussion about how to structure content. I don't know.
Did you play Skyrim?
No.
Yeah, I played like a couple hours of it, and it got too big for me already. And I was just like,
it's just a big game. There's just
like,
a lot to do.
staying away from it.
Yeah, you can just walk in any direction and just find something to do. Like someone will run up to you and just be like, "You're the chosen one." You're like, "Sure am," and then you just go do something else. Like, I mean, when you really break it down, it's a fairly simple game where it's like the more things you do, the more you level up, and you put points in certain slots. Like it's nothing too crazy. I'll do a video stress test.
Wait, what, that was it?
Yeah, I thought it was supposed to be like 45 minutes long. I didn't remember.
God no, it's like 10 minutes.
Now
long.
play it on
Didn't
hard.
even reach those buildings. You went up a different side, went to different buildings.
The world?
There's other things you can do. I don't remember. But anyway, yeah, Skyrim. I think a lot of people actually gave it shit for oversimplifying the Morrowind or the Elder Scrolls universe, and they were like, it's too simple. It's point A to point B, but it's also like the best-selling one. So it's like, well, it kind of shows the audience they're going for. So we were replaying Fallout just a little while ago, and I was like, I forgot how kind of cumbersome the menus and stuff were.
They tried to cram a lot
Yeah,
of PC sensibility into a console interface.
Yeah.
Bethesda's UIs have always been pretty
Pretty
They're
bad.
really complicated.
Yeah, but at the same time, they always they really look at mods closely. I think it was like I was at DICE years ago, and this is like the most gamer story ever.
Uh-oh.
I was hanging out with Todd Howard at the bar,
Oh, geez, here
and I
we
was
His eighth shot.
Here we go.
and we were just kind of talking about Skyrim mods, and he was like, "Yeah, we fucking love mods. Like they're great. We play with them all the time." So it's like they keep their eye on that stuff, and they're probably going to be integrating it into their game. So like the Sky UI.
Yeah, talk to the guy who made
Also-
Sky UI, please God.
Yeah, there's a good chance they could they'd hire a modder just to come in and take it on like whatever they're going to be doing with the Pip-Boy or whatever the interface is going to be. So
Or steal his ideas.
I don't know. I mean, really, all they have to do is do Fallout with really nice textures and kind of clean up the UI, and I'm happy. So
Did you play Fallout 3?
I played some of it.
So you played a little bit of Fallout 3, no Skyrim.
And then the
Half-Life.
quest list got way too large, and then I said no, thank you.
So, wait, did you play Half-Life 2? You did, right?
I played Half-Life 2.
And you didn't really like it.
No, it's not that I didn't like it. I played it and I finished it, and I was like, okay, now I've played
when
Half-Life
did
2.
you- when did you
It was
play it?
basically just
that's a good question.
mark through. What?
when did you play Half-Life 2?
Orange box.
So was it
Okay.
2006, 5?
So you played it on console?
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay.
When did that come out?
Orange
2007.
Oh,
Oh, no.
Yeah.
It was
Yeah,
3
whatever.
years after the game came out.
Yeah, it came out with Portal. I remember
It
that.
came out with all the expansions.
yeah, it had
But
episodes 1 and 2.
that's the thing.
and
By
4.
that point, it had already been
It's run its
mythical-
course.
Well, it
Yeah.
had been the mythical Half-Life 2.
Yeah.
Oh, you haven't
Yeah.
played Half-Life 2?
Well, 'cause
and then I
Half-Life-
played it, and I was like, okay, all right.
Yeah, I think you
played
may
it.
have been 4 years late to the party because, I want to say it was 2003, right? 2003,
Game
2004.
came out in 2004.
Yeah, so okay, so you're 3 years late to the party. But the game was mind blowing when it came out, and just the hype up to release was just it was next level. Like, it was,
But that's what I'm saying, though. The game was mind blowing, but then 3 years
Play it
later, it didn't blow my mind.
Do it on hard.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I don't know that that's going back to the Half-Life 3 discussion. I'm not sure that that's the game they want to make. I don't know that they want to make a game that's going to blow your mind now, and then 3 years from now,
Well,
it won't blow your mind.
What games can you play 3 years later and still blow your mind?
I think if you played Portal now, it
didn't-
would have a bigger impact on a new person approaching it than if you played Half-Life 2.
I did exactly what you did, which was
No.
play Portal and Portal 2 2, 3, 4 years after they came out. And I thought they were great games. I loved them, but I didn't think they were mind-blowing. I was like, oh, these are puzzle games. Cool.
I'm going to be a giant turd here and say that Half-Life 2, to me, is really similar to a movie like Blade Runner, where the first time I saw it, I was like, that was okay. I don't really get what the big deal is. And then I would go back to it maybe every couple of years, and every time I watched it, I'd be like, holy shit. I would draw connections between things that I didn't really see the first time. There'd be a lot of subtlety that didn't really click with me the first time. Half-Life 2, Half-Life 1 is kind of blunt. 2's storytelling and its environment, there's so many little details. I remember, it was like the third time I played Half-Life 2. Maybe it was episode 1. Anyway, there was this part where I was just crawling around the stage and I jumped up on this thing, and there was this pit full of zombies and head crabs down there, and there were just 2 chairs set up and a bunch of empty beer cans and a side table with a radio on it. And I just kind of sat there and was like, huh. And I could just imagine dudes drinking beer and throwing grenades down and watching head crabs die. There's just there's all these little accents to the levels that I find every time I play that game.
it is very well paced, and that's very hard to do. I think in a first-person shooter, because games get bogged down, and like we were talking about, like Wolfenstein's like one of the rare ones. I was like, pacing in the game is like just perfect. Eat this.
Because you like Wolfenstein, right? Yeah. You like Wolfenstein more than like Half-Life 2?
Here, Bruce,
Well,
jump
I
in.
mean, yeah, but
You did.
But I mean, it has an advantage of like 10 years.
Well, that's why because I thought Wolfenstein was a really super good game, but I didn't think anything about it was revolutionary. I thought it was well paced, just like Half-Life 2.
Well, what I liked about Wolfenstein is it didn't try to be revolutionary. Okay, so I think part of it is
Yeah, I don't
is
think
it
about it like
feels
it's
like
revolutionary. Think about it like it's a really good shooter.
It almost feels like Half-Life is a series made by mathematicians, right? They figured out the formula. They know, and they're right? In a sense, they're in a right, like they're correct, but it doesn't have this completely
It's not hard, by the way.
unfathomable secret sauce that is, I don't know what it is, that I look for in games,
I don't know.
right? So,
Yeah.
and this is my personal opinion. I'm not saying I don't like Half-Life.
No,
2.
I know.
I'm not saying that. I played the whole game, which if I beat a whole game, chances are I liked it, right? But for me, it felt like a mathematician's like perfect game, right? And so that didn't grab me. Again, I played it 3 years after the fact, but a game like Wolfenstein New Order is just like so much personality that it doesn't have to do anything new. It just has to do the things it wants to do really, really well, and then bombard me with ridiculousness and over the topness and craziness that it sticks with me, and I like it a lot. So I don't know. It's just that's just kind of my view on the thing. That's why, and again, that's just why I'm not like everyone else searching for secrets of Half-Life 3 and biting at the bit for clues or any sort of reference. If it never came out, I wouldn't be like, what a waste, you know? Like, I'd be like, okay, well, we had Half-Life 2.
So real quick, not video game related, the reason why I'm running around right now, I guess we haven't really given an update, like, I guess on the Office Space situation.
Let's do it.
I don't know if we've been clear on this. This is temporary. So right now we're in Culver City, but we're like in an annex type area. So
It's a building that smells like farts.
you got to jump
Call it the
across.
dungeon.
Where do I
Turn
go?
around. Turn around.
all the way
Right there, and you jump that.
No, to the left.
You see that
Straight
little-
to the left.
Oh,
yeah.
Look to your right. Look to your right.
Yeah, there you go.
You sprint and jump that, yeah. I know. I don't know why I couldn't find that. But anyway, so the plan is we're supposed to be moving out of here because I guess our code name is Rooster Teeth West, but we're code name.
Rooster Teeth West.
But we're at the full screen office right now, and all the full screen is moving to a much bigger office, and we're part of that move. So we were looking at some office space today and like all this other stuff, but and part of that I have to move because
You're right, you do.
I live in downtown LA, and everyone else here lives on the west
commute's
side.
like-
Except
What,
that
an
Spool's
hour?
not moving, and Spool doesn't live close to
Yeah,
it.
in Koreatown.
Spool just doesn't give a shit.
Don't tell him.
And then also,
They'll find you.
Joel's in Hollywood.
and Joel loves Hollywood so much, but
He loves buying. Every single Tuesday night, Joel walks down to Hollywood and he buys tiny little Oscars that say "Best Joel."
but so part
You
of
can't shoot
that.
well zoomed though. There's no iron sights.
Oh yeah, except for the rod.
Yeah.
The rod gun. Yeah, shotgun's good for this part.
Give me the rod.
And then you just right click and do the double shoot.
Boom.
Yeah. Boom. Kill those combine. So part of that is, I live in downtown LA, and getting down here is already kind of a trek. So my wife's actually in the office right now, and we're looking at an apartment like now.
In this office.
Oh,
in
you
this
guys.
office.
Oh, you guys.
It's actually right around the corner, or it's going to be right next to our new office. I'm going to go look at that right now. But I got to leave early. Sorry. I wish I could stay for the whole time.
okay.
Adam and I were gonna be buddies, but he decided
I know.
not to.
Longest goodbye ever.
I might end up.
School, man.
On that note, I might end up
Thanks for
moving
living
into Adam's old apartment complex, which turns out to be like less than a mile from where we're going to end up working.
I know. Yeah, we'll talk about that later another time. But anyway, enjoy the fan art.
Tell me about all the diamonds you hid in the walls.
I like talking about Half-Life with you guys.
Yeah, let's do it more.
Okay,
we
I'm
should
gonna
talk
head
about
out.
Half-Life more.
All right, see you guys.
The Half-Life cast.
What if Batman were in Half-Life? So I think James, to your point, I can completely understand why it wouldn't have knocked your socks off. You know what it reminds me of? It reminds me a lot of Halo in the sense that I came to it maybe a couple of years after everybody's like, "Oh my God, Halo, Halo, Halo," and I was waiting for it to be released on PC. I played it on PC and I was like, "This is like a crappier Half-Life, except it's about 6 years late, like Half-Life 1." But what it took me a long time to realize is that Halo is one of those games, and Half-Life is similar, where if you play it and you for some reason have God's virtue on your side and you're allowed to play it on your own without anyone telling you it's great, there's so many like little open doors for you to explore in terms of like the lore and the story and the characters, that if you do that on your own, it gives you a huge sense of ownership over it, and you feel like it's your thing. Like you were there and you lived it and found it on your own.
It is weird that way.
The problem is if somebody props it up for you and you hear about it incessantly for 3 years and you come into it and you're like, okay, it's kind of it's a well-paced shooter, the level design's pretty good, the shooting's pretty fun, but I'm not going to remember the first time I played Half-Life 2. I can see why, yeah, that's a bummer. And I've wondered to an extent why certain works, and I hate to put it like that because it sounds really fruity, but certain things require that ownership. Like it has to be something that you found.
Well, I mean, the same is kind of the case for almost everything.
Yeah,
it's very rare that something lives up to the hype of millions of people telling you it's the best game ever, or the best video, best movie ever, the best television show ever, whatever. It's very, very rare. So that's I get it. I mean, it makes sense.
Yeah, it's just because I remember when Half-Life 2 came out, I played it and I was like, this shooter's great. And then I bought Raising the Bar, the book about the development of Half-Life 2, and I read that. And reading that even gave me a lot of insight into the world of Half-Life and all that stuff. So I feel like it's kind of similar to somebody's like, oh, I played Halo 1 and I didn't get it, but then I read 3 novels and an encyclopedia, and now Halo is the greatest thing in the world. And I also agree that maybe a game shouldn't require that level of academic involvement to really have its value demonstrated.
Well, I think the important thing is there are games where I look at it and I go, I don't understand why people are so excited about this. We don't have to mention them. Everyone knows what they are. But I'm like, why are people so excited about this? This is not new. This doesn't do anything new. Like this isn't some amazing new thing. I do see Half-Life and Half-Life 2 and I go, okay, I understand its place. I understand why it is held to such a high regard. I don't necessarily have that passion, that emotion tied to it, but I do understand why it does have something tied to it, why it's important. So I don't want it to seem like I don't think that it is deserving of its spot in the world of video games and their legacy. It's just for me.
Back down from your stance now, James.
No, for me, it didn't resonate that way. I just didn't have. It wasn't like, oh god, So
there you go, audience. James hates Half-Life.
James
confirmed.
hates
He
Half-Life.
hates The Last of Us.
Confirmed.
He's officially the worst person.
No, Last of Us is a piece of shit. But.
Yep, question mark?
Joel, there's an empty seat for you.
Oh yeah, Joel, we need you.
I'll be there in like...
Ah!
It's getting real in here.
It's a great time.
No!
Well, shit. Since we got about 10 minutes to kill before we move on to fan art, let's talk about our favorite Half-Life memories.
Oh, god damn it.
Yeah.
Oh, jeez.
I remember I got Half-Life for Christmas in '98 with NHL '98 and another game I don't remember. It might have been Free Space? Anyway, that was that was the greatest clutch of games I ever got in my entire life. Half-Life being king of them, but I do remember you know what really struck me about Half-Life? The first one. It had the ability to be slow, which sounds like a bad thing, but in the late 90s, every shooter was like fucking rock music and you're blowing shit up all the time and like they were basically all trying to be Doom and Quake. And Half-Life was the first game that didn't have like a looping soundtrack. It had music cues that would play once and then be done. And you would just be like outside in the Arizona desert, and all you would hear is like the wind blowing, and you would just be like walking around trying to figure out where to go.
Motherfucker.
And it wasn't just all action; like it had downtime, which is something that I really enjoyed, even as a stupid teenager. I thought the pacing of the environments worked really well in there. I actually can't think of another game at the time that was like that.
Where's your shotgun?
I don't know, man. I'm fucking up real bad right
Yeah,
now.
that's bad news. Oh, he's
What?
fine.
Come on, dude. There you go.
Is that headcrab dead yet? Fuck me. Shit balls.
You're fine back there.
I don't know about that one.
Everyone knows that a priest's stand is designed to withstand explosions.
That's right, because of all the sweet gunfights
Boom.
that break out in churches. I've seen Robert Rodriguez movies. I know how this goes.
I can tell you my Half-Life 2 story.
Spool, tell us your Half-Life 2
Of
story.
how I've never beaten it.
What?
Uh-oh.
Because it is one of 2 games that makes me nauseous when I play it.
Oh, that's right, the water boat sequence, right?
There's anyway, the water boat's the
Or
worst
airboat,
part,
whatever it's
though.
called.
But like, if I play that game for around an hour or so, I start to get really nauseous. Like, not to where I'd ever throw up, but just kind of like you feel kind of like hungover and like your
blood
head,
numbers.
like kind of get like
That's
a
an
little bit of a
actual
headache
rocket.
and lightheaded feeling / nauseous, and it'll last for like the whole rest of the day. So like 1 hour of Half-Life 2 can ruin my day.
Jesus.
So I still have never beaten. I've gotten a couple of hours into the game and have never beaten it, but from what I understand, it has something to do with like the field of view
Yeah.
and stuff, and I need to go back.
They have
really
a field of view
badly.
slider now. Typically, high fields of view will cause that in people.
Yeah,
Fuck
and
you,
I don't
really?
know. That game and Fallout 3 are the 2. So I've
Fallout
never
3.
beaten Fallout 3 too. So
See,
I
we're
need,
buddies.
I need to go back and fix my field of view issues and see if I can find one.
Except Spool doesn't hate those games. You hate them.
Yeah,
James.
Oh,
James,
that's
why you
I
hate
forgot.
them?
I
You
used the
said
word
they're
hate.
terrible games
You
and you
said
hate
they're
them and never
garbage.
want to play
Those are
them.
my words.
I don't know why you would ever say that.
Because I'm
James
a
hates.
yeah, I'm just a hater.
That's because you're really mean. To
I'm just a
those-
troll.
He's
to
really
those
mean. Why is
multi-million-dollar
James so mean?
games.
Yeah.
Well, I'll see you guys later.
All right, Spool. Thanks,
That was another Spool's Corner.
Thanks for jumping in.
I remember when I was playing Half-Life 2 on the Orange Box, there was an achievement that you could get
The gnome one?
for not touching the sand
Oh, yeah.
in that whole section. And
That one's hard as
I
fuck, by the way.
was so careful because this is when I was like, achievements are the most important thing in the world.
Wait, you're-
I'm not anymore. I know you still are. And so,
You're just hating on everything important right now.
well, Orange Box achievements are the worst, by the way.
They're very
because they were
expensive and
each
also
worth
extremely fucking
there,
hard.
There were like 90 something of them in the whole game, and they were each worth like 1.
Yeah.
So so anyway, I was trying to do this one, the specific one, and I thought I did it. Like sometimes it's kind of vague when there is a
Yeah.
piece of wood on the ground, and you're like, well, I don't
Yeah.
have feet.
Like
but
it wiggles as soon as you step on it.
you're like, I don't have
Uh,
feet, but it basically looks like my character's above it. And so I thought I did it, and I got all the way to the end, and I waited for that pop.
Nothing.
And nothing. And I waited. I was like, I was so pissed. I was like, I'm waiting for this fucking pop. And then it never popped. And then I went, all right, well, I guess it's not that important.
Is that the exact moment when you gave up on achievements?
No,
When
that
all
isn't.
joy left your
No,
life?
it is the exact moment I gave up on Orange Box achievements.
Okay.
Because I was like, oh, well, fuck this.
Yeah.
Like,
Orange
So-
boxes, that's a hell of a project if you want to get all the achievements in that.
Yeah, yeah.
There's the one in episode 2 where you have to carry the garden gnome
get
all the way
health
through the
up there,
game.
above you.
Oh shit. Oh, Bruce, ah! You're doing really well, Bruce. I gotta
No,
admit.
I'm not doing very
I
well.
thought you were gonna die a couple times.
Doing well.
He means you're doing well in the sense that he thought you were going to do worse.
Well, it's on hard. I would have died a million times by now.
Adam didn't
I'm
die.
saying Bruce is doing very
Adam
well.
killed himself.
Well, he was playing on normal. Who cares?
But yeah, that's my, and then the other one is probably because it was on the same disc as Portal. Portal is my other
I remember playing
Half-Life 2
Portal.
memory.
Portal was really unique. It's one of the first genuinely funny games I remember playing.
Oh shit.
Because up until about 2005, funny in games was just being wacky. Like Earthworm Jim. Like,
Yeah.
it's not really funny, really. There's no jokes in it. It's
Yeah.
just random. Like, who's a
Yeah.
cow for no reason? That's funny.
It had really good writing, like excellent video game writing.
It did.
And in considering
good
most of
VO.
that was like non-verbal, and like that was another game where if you just happened to go one way, you would find a little like tile that was ajar, and you could go behind it, and there was someone who like made a little world for themselves back there, and it would be written on the walls and stuff. I always like that.
See, that sense of discovery and then like feeling like this moment is yours rather than this is the path that they wanted you to run down. That's kind of what I equate with the Half-Life series, but it sounds like you didn't really have those moments in Half-Life.
I remember the moment you were talking about where there's like a little table and like you, especially in what's the name of that town?
Ravenholm?
Ravenholm.
Yeah.
That one's like littered with there used to be people that lived here kind of thing going on. But I mean, I wasn't like blown away by it. I wasn't like, oh my god. I think because Portal is so minimalist that anytime they put in a hint of something there, it's like oh, it isn't just what it seems, you know. Whereas you kind of expect that they should have like
That's a really good
remnants
point.
of human beings in a town that human beings used to live in. Like, so it's like that's my expectation for them. And again, they hit that expectation. It wasn't like they didn't do it or they didn't succeed at it. So
It's interesting that you say the phrase hit your expectation, because I remember when Half-Life 2 came out, I played through it basically in a day, in one sitting. And when I finished it, I was like, yep, that's what I expected.
Mm-hmm.
But I remember also thinking at the time that this game is really good, and it's going to meet people's expectation, which almost is impossible. Like, no game was expected to the order of Half-Life 2, maybe like Super Mario Bros. 3 or something, but the fact that it came out and met everyone's expectations instead of being a gigantic letdown is, I think, a huge credit to that game. Can you think of any other time in like gaming history when a sequel was so expected and people didn't say it was absolute shit the second it came out?
Oh my gosh, fuck.
that's a tough question.
Because I know Destiny was like one that people are like, this is garbage. And it's like, it's not garbage.
I mean,
It's
not really
what
a
you
sequel,
thought.
right?
Huh?
Not really technically a sequel.
Oh, that's a good point. I guess, yeah, spiritually it was seen as a sequel to Halo, but
Yeah.
yeah, you're right.
But that's another thing with Destiny. I was like, I never played, like I never was like, oh my god, those late Halo games are just the best. It's like, okay. And what you were saying about everyone going like buck wild for Halo, I kind of had the same thing with Halo 2. Where not Halo 2 the sequel,
Yeah,
but Halo
Halo as
also,
well. Yeah.
because like I played it a little bit after the fact, like not when it first came out, but a little bit after the fact, and I was like, that was a game, but it wasn't like I don't understand why this game is changing the landscape of stuff. My big thing is I am not a game analyzer that much. I try not to be. If a game is fun, I will like it, right? And if a game is fun but then goes above and beyond the job of just being a fun game and it becomes something more for me, then I will love it. Again, I always talk about Psychonauts, but like Psychonauts is a game that starts as like a fun, simple platformer, but it has so many other layers in there that if you choose to find them and enjoy them, then you'll get more out of the game itself. And so Halo is just kind of a game, you know. It achieves the gaminess of it. My favorite thing about Halo, and the only reason I kind of played the rest of them were that like you could play with your friends, which was something at the time, you know, like you couldn't play GoldenEye campaign with your friends. You only had to play against each other. But this was like, wait, you're telling me I can drive a Warthog and my friend can sit on the back and we can just go around and it's not even telling us where we kind of have to go, even though it's linear? Like, awesome. But yeah. Can you not charge your suit? Is your suit all the way?
I think that's already used up.
Oh, boy.
Yeah. All right, well, audience, we'd love to hear from you. Why don't you in the comments let us know what Half-Life means to you, and maybe what your Half-Life memories are.
Try and guess why I hate Half-Life, too.
Yeah, and The Last of Us. He also hates The Last of Us.
Well, The Last of Us is easy.
Yeah, that one's an easy one.
I would not compare Half-Life 2 to The Last of Us. One is a game that I like and enjoyed.
Boom.
Another is a game that I did not.
Boom bombs, dropping. All right, let's look at some community highlights from roosterteeth.com. Some people left some comments on the last podcast. Let's read them. Otis. So there was that series of logo designs that were all based on the Funhaus logo. There was one we couldn't quite place.
Yeah.
Otis writes, It's Toasted logo is Lucky Strikes, an old school unfiltered cigarettes.
I saw that. Someone else said that, and I was like, well, I don't think any of us smoke. So that's probably why none of us got it. Right?
He added some interesting trivia. LSMFT, Lucky Strikes, means fine tobacco. Fun fact. Many Japanese think the logo is a reference to the atomic bomb, but it predates that. If you see people smoking in an old war movie, they're smoking Luckies. So there you go.
That's cool.
A Naughty Duck writes, and this is in reference to our Battlefront discussion, he writes, or she, my love for Battlefront purely stemmed from having no friends as a child, but being able to play multiplayer with bots, similar to one of the first Red Faction games for the original Xbox that also had bots that I love now, yet can't seem to find nor remember the name. I actually hadn't considered that. Playing multiplayer... By the time those games were coming out, I had internet access, and I was playing on PC.
What the? There's a guy in a window?
Go home!
What are you doing here?
Half-Life magic. So there was an interesting... I never really appreciated that about Battlefront, because that's like a window of gaming that I was able to skip. Like console games that were strong enough to have multiplayer matches with bots, but didn't have internet access yet. Kind of a weird...
Perfect Dark.
Yeah, you're right.
That's another thing. Perfect Dark I have fond memories of because I could play Perfect Dark with bots if I didn't have friends to play with. But then if it was just me and one other friend, we could still do big multiplayer matches where we didn't have to kill each other over and over again because you could fill it with bots.
Are you back in there, you motherfucker? Jeez.
Tom SDM wrote in YouTube comments on the last one, says Star Wars Battlefront is the only video game that my 55-year-old dad will play. He's more excited about the release of this new one than anyone else I know. And I hadn't considered that either. That just based on the brand of Star Wars, Battlefront may have been a game. Like, the complexity of Battlefront was a good deal more complex than, like, I don't know, like a 3D platformer, any number of other, like, fighting game, like any number of other more traditional employments of the Star Wars license. It seems like it's a way for people that are just interested in Star Wars to play a pretty complex multiplayer game, which I also hadn't really appreciated. So that's interesting. Thank you for writing in.
Oh my gosh, fuck me. Oh
yeah. Brandon Prater had some important input on the production of our podcast. He says, their podcast should have a little bit more production value added to them. Just add a couch, maybe 2 chairs, some curtains, and a table in the middle.
Hey, we got all that stuff.
Yeah, lose the game footage and change your name to the RT Podcast. Do these small changes and you're good.
There's this bold maneuver here. I see this a lot now on YouTube, where people don't reveal that it's sarcasm or actually a satirical comment until the very last line of the comment, and so very bold because he probably got some thumbs down and some scathing replies for people who didn't actually read the whole thing.
Well, when I started reading his comment, on YouTube, of course, we have a lot of people who think that they are producers and tell us exactly what's wrong with all of our videos. So I saw this one and I was like, this motherfucker. But by the time I got to the end, I was like, yeah, you're a funny fella. And then Jazz 322 Always Swing. There's a lot of extra letters that I extracted. He very poetically wrote, if EA destroy my childhood, I shall destroy their anus.
Their anus, though. It's their
T-H-E-R-E.
location there.
And the anus is pluralized and possessivized.
Anuses.
Anuses.
Anus.
So yeah, thanks, Jazz. Now we know exactly where
they'll
you
watch
stand.
out for they'll make sure not to do that.
Yeah, they're not going to destroy your childhood. All right, show and tell time.
Oh yeah, fan art. My favorite part.
Yeah.
Thank God I can stop playing.
Juan Rivera. Hold on a minute. I got to change this layout here. This is all kinds of fucking up. Oop, that's not right. Oh no.
What do you need here?
Hold on, what do you mean clicked?
I got it.
Now that Half-Life is done, which I've never played, I can finally come in and talk.
Fucking Joel.
I'm not the only.
No more talking. Nope. Juan Rivera, the guy who did an amazing Inside Gaming / ETC poster, updated it with Funhaus.
Nice.
So there's all little faces.
Yep.
Yeah,
Look how big one of my eyes is and how small one of my other eyes is.
I like
Accurate.
I look like a character from Doug Funny who just woke up in the morning.
It's just called Doug.
But the formal name is Doug Funny.
Well, it's just Doug.
Nicktoons presents the Doug Funny
it's
comedy
never-
half hour.
It's absolutely never been called that.
What is he?
Featuring
Joel, what are you talking about?
Patty Mayonnaise players.
I have never seen a full episode of Doug, and I still know you're wrong. I never had cable growing up.
That looks like a character from Doug who just woke up in the
Doug
morning.
is so
and-
good.
Yeah.
sure it
there's
is.
a Twitter account called Doug Episodes where he writes Doug episodes, but they're all insane. He gives them a title. But more recently, he's been just going off the wall, and he's just been writing the truth is actually a lie. Like it has nothing to do with Doug, but I like to imagine it's Doug.
It's always Doug. Joshua Fetzer drew all of us riding a rainbow unicorn.
You know what I really like about this one? The trompe l'oeil aspect of the Funhaus sticker that's peeling off the poster.
Stop it.
It's a story about a story.
Also,
Why do you keep kicking my chairs? Like,
is Adam down there cleaning up the rainbow shit? What is that?
I think that's Bruce.
That might be Bruce.
Adam, because Adam has only the mustache.
Oh yeah, you're right.
Adam should do that.
Wait, no,
by the way.
oh, it's Peak. No, it's Peak cleaning up all
Okay,
the shit.
yeah.
Oh.
I thought it might be Peak. I'm glad that Peak's finally getting included.
Yeah, except as a janitor
fucking
Yeah.
impossible.
cleaning up the
Or
shit.
just the back of his head. We'll see that later.
Ooh, right there.
Flynn
Ow,
Dutch-
ow.
Don't be a pussy.
That's the spot.
Ow.
You're carrying a lot of tension in your back fat.
Ow, that hurts. Back fat.
Flynn Dykstra illustrated the Gamers Ultimate lineup, which I included specifically because James is a ripped Dorito.
I was gonna say, I just noticed that there are pectorals in that Dorito.
It's good.
Really, that saves the whole image because really it's just cutouts of faces.
I'm genuinely curious now how much I would pay to have surgery to be a ripped Dorito.
Not
a great
as
question.
much as the joke that you just made would lead people to believe.
$500,000? What if Doritos paid
Joel's
you
right.
to become a Dorito?
Joel's right.
Ben Grover drew the.
Yep.
Ben Grove. Sorry.
Ben Grove won.
I got Grover on the brain. Drew Funhaus for the Dude Soup Entertainment System.
Yeah, I like
Yep.
this one.
This is awesome.
I just love that styling, man.
I wouldn't play the game. I would review it really harshly, but I like the box art.
Graphics are bad.
We saw something very similar to this. I remember when we went to
you're right.
when we went to London. Someone had a shirt that was
That
very
was really
similar to
good.
this.
Is it Funhaus on it?
No.
Oh,
Nice
what a
shot.
I love this.
Oh,
Connor
wow.
Daw drew, what
It's
was
like my
it?
nightmares.
Impressionist? No, what is this? There's a word for this.
Surrealist? It's
Kinda
not
pop art.
impressionist.
Srabstract.
There you go.
Yeah.
Srabstract.
Shrabstack.
Ah!
Bruce, fire, Bruce, fire! Fire, Bruce, fire! It can shoot through that.
God! So hard.
We all look like crazy 80s gang members, and I like that.
Yeah.
Oh, this is the top of our fan art on the set.
Yeah, a lot of this is making the set this week. A lot
Yeah.
of really good fan art.
The set that, as Adam mentioned, will be ripped down when we have to move to a
about
new
10
office.
Yeah. So we're gonna need more fan art.
Yeah, so we can rip it down again.
Mark Stanton made some Funhouse decals, which is
Oh, are those tattoos? Temporary
pretty,
tattoos?
they better be. I mean, it's sticky, so sure.
No,
Except they're
it's
gonna
not
be facing
backwards.
wrong.
Yeah.
I still like them. I'm
No,
gonna
maybe
go ahead and
he's
say,
invisible,
you don't
so it
rub.
works
if you
both
decide
backwards
to
and
make
forwards.
temporary tattoos, I want them to not be flipped, so that way they'll look wrong when you have a tattoo.
And then you have to explain everything about it. Like, no, see, it's this YouTube group, and I made this thing, but
Yeah.
I
And I
forgot to
fucked
flip
it up.
it because it was a tattoo.
Yeah.
So now it's backwards, but if you really... Like,
Maybe it's an homage to how much we fuck up everything.
Also, Mark's got a pretty sharp thumbnail there.
He's a vampire.
No, trim that down.
Or maybe he does coke
Yeah,
out
he
of his
does coke.
thumbnail.
He does.
Oh, do you say he's a cokehead?
It's clean, at least. He's not like...
No,
he's
yeah,
not
it's
black.
gotta
clean.
keep it clean.
It's a clean nail. He's got good cuticles, but it's long.
Bruce, you're going to see this one. Joey Fogelman
Oh yeah, Jedi Bruce.
drew Jedi Bruce.
So I think he's coloring this one right now.
Oh, man.
I don't think
oh,
it's a lightsaber. I think that's a melon baller that's shooting out a piece of honeydew.
Oh,
It's
that
also
makes
like
sense. That makes
comparatively,
sense.
it's actually. So this is not a critique. Well, it kind of is.
Yeah.
But so
I
your
really
work is
like it.
amazing, but it does look like the lightsaber's a little small in comparison to your hand.
Wow, I made a joke and Lawrence just shit all
Well,
over the
are
art.
you talking about the little part there? That
the
leads
handle.
to the,
Everything.
isn't there supposed to be a crystal
It's
that
inside.
reflects?
It's inside.
I know, but is it?
It's a
There'd
tiny-
have to
know
be a
this,
crystal
so
that
They don't
directs
tell you
the
like
beam,
the
but
blade
it-
actually ends right about here.
What happened?
I know,
what
but if
happened in
the-
this story is that Bruce was
boy.
protecting the Padawan, like the young.
We don't have all day,
Padawans
Joel.
At the academy, like the little kids that have like the little
Yeah.
baby lightsabers.
Yeah.
And he didn't have his lightsaber with him.
Okay.
And that's when Anakin came to execute order, whatever the fuck. And-
66.
He didn't
Bruce-
do it. It wasn't
Bruce,
part of that
let's
order.
take
That was just
And,
called the
and
Jedi.
Bruce like, all I've got is a baby lightsaber.
what's
I'm gonna
that?
do what I can.
There's a guy, hold on, there's a guy just walking. on
You
the
shoot him. Do you
ceiling.
think he's just gonna fall? Poor little guy.
He's patrolling.
Oh no!
Oh,
He warped back through the wall.
All right, anyway.
The sweatiest man on Twitter
Oh wow.
drew Adam as the Predator.
yeah, look at that. He killed the,
Tamed that
killed the
shark. Got his
Are
belt.
those
wrapped around
coconut knee pads?
Yep. Your trinut knee pads.
He's like, now that I live on this island alone, I better protect my knees.
there. He also
from
made a Funhouse emblem, also out
kicking.
of coconuts, I think. Just everything's coconuts. The eye nips.
Oh,
Drew
man.
did a pixel art of the dude's soup.
this is great.
We're all sitting in there.
I wish this was kind of animated, slightly animated.
Okay,
It
we're all
looks like
bubbling.
it looks like a
Oh.
LucasArts like.
There's
early
little bubbles around
LucasArts
Bruce
thing.
because he's farting in the soup.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh yeah, I'm farting in my seat.
That's not the first time Bruce has been drawn farting in
And
soup.
Lawrence is, of course, thinking of his free coffee.
Oh, I love it. What do you think? How much do you think this costs?
Fun fact about this
Just
fan
my
art:
dignity.
Bruce is not ruining the soup. He is in fact making the soup.
He's carving
It
it.
yeah.
requires
I have to warm it
fart.
up. Yeah, I gotta warm it up.
Oh man, that looks so good.
It's like salt. Michael O drew the house blend coffee.
Oh yeah. Remember that thing that lasted a week that you said?
It's weird. I've never created something that I did not understand its popularity before.
I find that.
We didn't
hard to
understand when
believe.
you said it out
I
loud.
find that hard to believe.
There's something called Funhouse.
Whatever, James got it. Sick Vic or 6cell66 on Twitter.
Wow.
There's a whole lot going
Oh,
on
so that's
here.
Adam, and he's receiving a call from me.
He's
It's a
receiving a
fart.
fart over phone.
What is this?
Dude, soup.
Soup and boss loaf.
But load leaky bits.
Yeah, leaky bits.
Oh, leaky bits.
That, brought
That's
up,
right.
that came up in the last podcast. I like
Leaky
Adam's
Bits is
expression.
Never mind, I can't say that.
He's never.
I can't say that.
I get where you're going with that. He's never. Maybe I hope so.
I think you might.
He's never been so like scheming before. Adam's face is always placid, but
Somehow
here-
this guy figured out who the real Adam is.
That's right.
He's also not using what I assume is a gun. He's hugging it.
He's got the
Well,
tiniest.
it's a rocket launcher, dude. Come on, bro.
He's a gun.
No, it's an RPG.
He's
See
a
the
gun
RPG
hugger.
at the end
So
of it?
here's what I'm confused about. The stock is right here.
Uh-huh.
What is this?
That's the RPG, the end of it. Think of it as a rocket launcher with the tip.
it's for short.
You know, how it becomes a cone.
Okay.
But
What is this then? Because I thought that
I don't
was
know
the
what
stock
that
of
is.
a
That's
gun.
the stock
hey,
of
you
an
know what we should
RPG
do?
gun.
We should critique some kids'
All right.
really hard art.
Did a great job, Sick Vic. I love you so much. Scoop Tubins
Oh, delightful scoop.
drew
Nice.
2 tattoo designs that are amazing. There's Funhaus on the right hand,
Yeah.
and then the Sizzler Adventure on the left.
Uh-huh.
Sizzler Adventure.
Or Scissor.
Yeah, no, you're right. Sizzler Adventure. I just think it's weird.
It's a 3-finger salute right there.
Yeah.
That's right. James is a shocker. I like man, this is just cool. If I were a tattoo man, I would get these.
You are a tattoo man. Hello,
Thinking about getting a
man.
tattoo. Thinking about it.
Do it.
Oh man.
Yeah, Noah Gonzalez, or
This
rather,
is-
not Noah Gonzalez. Nailed
Oh my God!
Absolutely
I never
fucking
saw
nailed it.
Peak.
Peak is
Peak is
my
the best.
favorite part.
and he's wearing the jacket and
That's
everything.
so good.
it. It requires.
Oh.
Yeah, no, sorry. No. I did
Podcast
that. On,
over.
I did that on purpose. I did that on
Even-
purpose.
He even asked when he was like working on it, like when it was only half colored or half drawn. He was like, "Does anyone have any better pictures than that?"
No, that's
Because I
perfect.
Keep it like this.
That's perfect. Don't ever.
Yeah.
so good.
Everything about I love Joel. Like everything's perfect.
Joel.
Bruce is screaming. Adam's just sulking.
Lawrence is disapproving
Yeah.
smirk.
Do I disapprove all the time? This is new. Man.
Not really.
80%.
Okay, well, that's worthy of being represented in
You're
caricature.
wearing that.
All right, 75%.
Joel's wearing his shirt. I don't know if he's wearing his shirt.
No,
He's
that's
wearing
different.
our signature shirt.
I just think
at the moment.
Joel might be my favorite.
No, Peak is my favorite for sure.
Yeah.
I feel like you've just had half a glass of champagne and you're feeling right. You're just like, hey!
Yeah.
At the back of a pink Corvette.
This image also makes it pretty clear to me how sad Adam is to still be with us.
Yeah, he's not looking at anybody.
He knows we're there, but he doesn't
Another
want
thing I
to
appreciate
see.
about this is how accurately they represent the stubble, not the fact that we have actual faces.
Yes.
yeah, good point.
Yes.
Nailed it.
Good
Not
point.
Noah Gonzalez.
Everything has been nailed.
Yeah, he really did.
Good job. Good job. You're a hero. And then I am spooked at on Tumblr. Made the logo of the Santa Barbara Seawolves.
Yeah.
You got it.
Oh, that's right. They're underwater. Yeah, I printed that out. It's on our wall now.
Excellent. Katie Bacon. This is something that you guys
Oh,
are going to see
yeah.
at PAX.
Oh.
Sweet Katie.
She made little figures of all of us.
Oh, look at that.
Look at Bruce's short. It looks like you're wearing a diaper.
I love that I'm wearing those little shorts. Those
Jean
little
diapers.
shorts. And they're so
Oh.
high. They're so high on my waist.
Joel looks like he doesn't have pants or something.
Yeah.
She should draw a little dick. Little dick on Joel.
It's hard to
Yeah.
represent curly, voluminous, puffy.
All right, that's enough.
delightful,
Move on. Katie, those are great. Please don't talk about his
Semitic
pubic hair.
hair.
anymore. No, I want to talk about his pubic
You're
hair.
great, Katie. Flashpoint 4. Drew little cute fun houses.
This looks like characters from like WarioWare or something.
Oh, yeah.
It
Like,
does.
they're doing like little like stupid rhythm games.
I like that. You look like you're like really excited to be there, but in your underwear and your socks.
Yeah,
Where
yeah.
it's-
I don't wear underwear like that.
You don't, Tidy Whities?
No.
Soon Spool's a little baby.
He's always drawn as a small child.
Well, he's a sitting like a small child.
For the same reason that I'm.
oh, yeah.
Oh yeah, that's true. I forgot about that. But also, I used to be drawn as like a midget wolf.
That's
Like,
true.
Oh, yeah.
No, he was the midget Jew. He was like a little goblin Jew. I felt really bad for you whenever you were drawn like
I
that.
thought it was funny.
Well, you
Well,
graduated
I
up
got it
into
too.
being a full-size human. And you got a little Clark Kent squiggle.
I always have that. Hang on, wait.
There you go.
Look at that. Superman's
Yeah,
here.
not really.
Bruce's girly little fart.
I know.
It's wonderful.
You're wearing those shorts today.
I know, absolutely.
McAfee here on Reddit made the Funhouse movie poster.
Holy shit.
Let me blow
Those
it
are
up.
really saturated.
What happened
Yeah, I
to
was
this?
gonna say,
You just drag that slider
Oh,
all the way
it's
to the
great.
right. That looked good. Slider.
guaranteed to hurt your eyes in 2015.
I just like trying to piece together a plot from what's going on here because I'm riding on a horse. Adam's shooting some things.
Spool's a woman.
Yeah. Bruce is sky breakdancing away from an explosion,
Yeah, sure.
and then Joel's just looking badass as usual.
Lawrence is riding a horse.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Cool.
That's really cool.
Have you ever ridden a horse before, Lawrence?
Yeah. I grew up in Texas, of course.
No.
It's unpleasant. Evil golf cart made a
Oh,
variety
yeah, I
of
like
very
these.
cool, just like pleasing, aesthetically pleasing Funhouse
Yeah, I like that.
images. So this is a good time to bring up. If you are curious about links to all of this fan art, I will be including that on roosterteeth.com in the link dump, which has been suggested to be called Herbs and Spices. It's going to take me a while to plug all that in.
That should be the plop.
It's
It should be called the plop.
Ah, shit, it should be called the plop.
The plop.
Yeah.
That's where all the links go.
The plop from Dude Soup.
All right, I'm sorry, person on Reddit who suggested that. It's called the plop now.
Sorry, guys.
But
I work here. I have a better say than you.
No, well, hang
I have
on.
more influence.
If you want this wallpaper,
More
go there.
influence.
Okay, James has got a lot of. He's got more influence than he knows what to do with.
Alchemical Wolf on Reddit submitted the most American thing in the world.
Why did I say that? I don't remember why I said that.
I made sure to specify on Reddit that Bruce's views don't necessarily represent the views of the group. So
He's true though.
Have you ever masturbated
No one's gonna
while
argue with
driving?
this.
no.
Have you?
I've given it a good tug or two, but I've never gone the whole way.
Absolutely not. That's stupid. Pull over. I mean, what's the problem?
I'm trying to pull over and under and all around,
Yeah.
my friend.
You guys are gross.
There's a lot of pulling going
You
on.
really like pleasuring yourself.
Are you having fun with that chandelier?
Yes.
How come the wire isn't
It's the
moving?
only thing he can shoot in the game.
Kind of makes me want to jack off. Global Predator X on DeviantArt.
SWAT.
Fucking SWAT was so good.
You're the best.
I like his eyes are crossed, or like they're the other way.
Like, get down, hands up, popo, police. Get down, hand on the ground, hepo, get pulley, I can't see that pulley.
Like while he's blasting his face off.
I know.
Just imagine them going, I don't know what to do.
Just tell me what to do. Don't shoot me, please. And he shoots him. Form 3D has been busy with his 3D printer.
So I just asked him to send those to us. So I think he's gonna send them to us over here.
Oh, can we combine? Form of?
Yes.
A Funhaus ring. Oh, wait, shit. Oh,
Fuck.
that's a shitty superpower.
Yeah. Form of James Willems from Funhaus.
I'm not
you.
sure if he was the one who did this because I saw it earlier in the week and couldn't find it when I was looking for fan art. But somebody did 3D print keychains, which I would keychains,
Yeah, we don't-
Chains.
which I'd be totally down with. My keys are looking a little sparse. I lost my Mega Man. Need a replacement.
Uh-oh.
I know. It's kind of
That's
sad.
it. Oh, I know it's my favorite.
What is it?
The
that
next
it?
one.
Could have sworn there were more. No, that's
It's a
it.
perfect picture of Matt Peak.
Oh.
Nothing.
Wait, what?
Matt Peak in a snowstorm.
Ah.
All right, everyone. Thanks for listening again.
Yeah.
Thanks for letting me.
And
So much?
some maybe watching.
We appreciate it. Oh man, you dropped it again. Huh?
Quick
Watch out.
reminder.
Careful with that remote desktop.
If all this Half-Life has had you have some thoughts, why don't you scroll down the comments, leave them. We might feature your comments in the next Dude Soup.
And we apologize if Half-Life 3 was announced.
If that happened, then please just
Stake my
stop watching the
reputation
video
on
right
that.
now.
Just toss your computer in the garbage.
Pretty much.
You won't need it when Half-Life 3 comes out.
Bye.
Yeah, bye
Thanks,
everybody.
everybody. Plop.
That's the plop.
Sounds-
This thing. I'm gonna sneak in there, commando it, blow it up, take it out, so you guys up top can start to do orbital bombardments, take out their walkers or something like that. It'd be really cool to make some of the fights that you saw in the movie, like to appreciate them from a tactical level, emergently while you play. That's what I want.
I
just
feel
want
like
the
they
world.
need to take a page out of the book of Titanfall for that. You need to have a lot of AI running around doing
Yeah.
crazy
Yeah,
shit.
you're right.
I agree. The only way.
Attack on Titan.
So you can do like 32v32, but I feel like if you're splitting the battle up to space and ground and any